So I am joined by two amazing creatives here today. Both of you work in production. And I guess we'll start with you, Noor. If you tell us a bit about yourself and what you currently do and how you are involved in production.
Thank you so much for being here, or like for having me. It's great to be here. I'm currently a kind of freelance screenwriter, director, producer. I founded a women-led production company called Memento Pictures, and we're kind of centered around taking intersectional approaches at looking at mental health in young people. And that's kind of what kind of stories and projects we want to develop. I'm also a fourth year uni student. I'm studying English Lit and History in Edinburgh. So yeah, just trying to balance last year of university, dissertation and all of that with filmmaking and kind of breaking into the industry. A couple of things I'm doing right now on a work experience program with ITV, which has been really great just to kind of help, you know, help break into the industry. I'm also currently volunteering at Glasgow Film Festival, which has just been a really great way to meet other kind of young aspiring filmmakers and learn a lot about the behind the scenes of the film festival world. I'd never kind of worked behind the scenes of a film festival. I'd been to Glasgow the year before, but it's really great to kind of get the BTS of that and learn a bit more about how the kind of operational side of it works. That's kind of me in a nutshell, I guess.
Amazing. And I feel like I didn't even realize that you actually don't even study like film. Like you study something completely different. So we'll touch on that in a second.
Yeah.
Ara, tell us about you.
First of all, thank you so much, Sabrina, for the invitation. And yeah, that's insane that you're still studying and that you're, already on this path and going forward. No. Yeah, a bit about me. I'm a London-based producer. I'm from Romania, so I'm basically one foot in the industry, London, one foot in Romania. I started out there in indirect shorts and in my own projects. And getting more and more into the industry. Then I moved here to study at University of Westminster, where I graduated. And before I graduated, actually, I founded my film production company. And so we have this collective of filmmakers that are emerging and young talents that we grow together in this community, as I like to call it, because it's not just a film production company. We want to have a collective of people working together, and sharing the same passion and the same goals. So yeah, right now we're busy with short films, the series in the making, and three feature projects. One of them is in Romania and is in development. So we already have some projects that we already made, and we travel a lot of international markets and festivals, and yeah, things are going great, and I'm very, very excited to meet up with new people and to, grow this community more and more.
Amazing. And I guess, I mean, either of you can take this first, but for both of you, like, when did you first kind of realize that you wanted to start a production company? Like, when was it like, I have to do this, I want to do this?
You want to go or should I?
You can go, no problem.
Okay. I think for me, so I used to act, not like in anything super huge, but I had an agent like since I was 16 until I don't know, like maybe last year. I sort of kind of decided to stop acting because for a number of reasons, but I kind of just wasn't super happy with because I'm from the Middle East, just to my preface, I'm from um, Lebanon and Syria, and I guess I just wasn't really happy with the kind of roles that were coming through, and then in comparison to like who would end up booking the role, I found that there was just kind of a sort of an air of misrepresentation around my culture, and I mean any sort of minority culture in general is I don't know quite it's not great like in my opinion in the industry right now. So I decided instead of kind of focusing on acting, I would rather focus on like the storytelling and like creating that space for those minority groups to have a place in the industry more than they have right now. And I kind of realized that the only way that I was going to be able to do that was to kind of go at it from the sort of writing, directing, producing side of things to yeah, to I guess just like create those spaces myself, and like with the help of other people that also wanted to do that. Yeah, and then I just kind of met some other filmmakers through like our university society, and then we all just kind of had a similar idea of what we wanted to do, and then yeah, I just decided to guess start something, and we had some ideas for films we wanted to do, so just to kind of put a name on it, and that's how it started for us.
Mara?
Definitely, I think from university is always a good place to start, to have all the people around you ready and to create something together, which is, yeah, it's my experience because I was in the last year of university, I think. Yes, I think. And I saw that there's so much potential in my year and so many people with great ideas and that really wanted to make something out of it. And not just during university, but afterwards and grow together. So I was like, okay, that's like, why not? Why not keep all these people together? Of course, some of them left London after university, they relocated somewhere else, but we are still working together remotely. And sometimes they got to London and do the projects together. And and the area editors, DOPs, and anything like that. So we grew this community from the very beginning inside university. And I think the idea came to me after I produced almost graduation for a documentary, which is an international production, very challenging film in Italy. So and to bring everyone to Italy, all these big ones. Of course, it was good because we had accommodation, but it was a very tough shoot, let's say. I think that's the moment when I realized, I love doing this. I love the adrenaline. I love working with these people and forming a strong teams and working together. So that's how everything started and that's how everything evolved over time.
I think honestly, like I think it's so interesting that you both touch on like how community means like so much to you and how you started it out of just the grassroots of like people who are passionate. And I think that's the thing. I think like there's so much to be said about the passion of like young people and like young creatives in particular. And I think just even like when I think about like all the young people I know who are just like, I want to be a filmmaker or I want to be a producer because I want to change the landscape and the way that film currently works or TV currently works isn't working. And like you said, it's not representative of people or of like communities that maybe aren't like in like rooted in the UK, for example, or like white British. And I suppose for Umara, obviously like working not just in London but also back home, how have you found like the differences in I guess like culture and like approaching cinema?
Well, it's extremely difficult between both sides and keeping relationships there in Romania, keeping it going, keeping the projects going. And I am trying my best to stabilize this and to harmonize my way of working in both countries. Coming from Eastern Europe, yeah, it's not the happiest story, because the residents one there's much better. Unfortunately, uh, the side of the world doesn't really like to bear with this thing and resources, of course, money wise and wise. It's a process, of course, it's a process of managing both sides, and it's not always easy, and it's not always very difficult either. But you need to find a middle way that works for you best.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Sorry, no, I just muted you there because I felt like I was getting some feedback and I couldn't hear Mara very well. And I suppose actually talking about obviously, I guess we kind of had the discussion just slightly before you joined me and Mara about what it's like kind of being a woman in this space. And I suppose, yeah, for you, Noor, like how have you found it? Like, do you think there's been pushback or do you feel like things are changing or like how have you found that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great question, and I think very kind of like prevalent right now. I don't think we've necessarily received pushback yet because, as I was kind of saying, like we're still sort of in that like kind of liminal space between student filmmaking and professional filmmaking. So we haven't yet, like all of our films that we made like in 2024 were crowdfunded. We didn't kind of get external funding. So in terms of that, not necessarily any pushback per se. But I think like in a way, that's kind of the whole reason why I started the company, because there had been like a few sets that we had been on, like me and, sorry, I'm talking about the people that also work like kind of in the company with me. We'd been on a few film sets, and there'd just been a few like incidents between people on set that I don't know, I guess just didn't really sit right with us. I mean, I'm sure like, you know, Mara, you might have experienced this, and Sabrina as well, just in everyday life. Like, you know, there are just some situations which, you know, a bit inappropriate, you know, probably shouldn't be happening in the 21st century. And I think I just wanted, and then I also felt like that was kind of inhibiting the kind of creative aspect of the sets as well. And like it felt that people couldn't, I guess, do their best work on set because they felt like there were these other I don't know, kind of forces, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to create Memento Pictures, because I wanted to create that safe space for people um to work together and to collaborate. And it's just a space that I didn't really see in Edinburgh or maybe in Scotland. Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question actually. I think I rambled a bit then, sorry. A pushback. Yeah, I don't know. Not yet, I guess, but once we've got like a plan now to try and apply for funding and you know, the classic um different routes. So I mean, I'm sure we will, because it's inevitable really, isn't it? So but yeah, not yet. So
Can I just say as well, I think I am deeply afraid of applying for funding for things. The funding application process is so extensive and so big and scary. I'm just like, I don't know how people do it. Like when people apply for things that are like six figures, I'm like, where do you even start? Because I can't even break down like so I applied for funding for this podcast and that was like £800 and that stressed me out because I was thinking I've got to sign every single penny has to be accounted for, like roughly, like. But then, like when you're applying for these big, massive budgets, like how does it even work? And I'm not sure if you can speak to this at all, Mara, whether you've had to like go through funding, what that's been like for you.
So I completely agree. It's a mess, and it's something that I personally hate. Like, why do producers need to apply for all these funds, and there are massive, like a big dossier of putting all the information there. Not only, of course, yeah, you can make a budget, you can write more creative information and more of that, but it's still not enough for them. Like, I feel like they keep pushing and pushing for more and more documentation, and it's so much unnecessary paperwork, in my opinion. And now, of course, I'm talking about the BFI here. I'm talking about the funds in Romania, for example, the European funds as well. For that, I'm not even gonna get into it because it's a lot, and it's scary. And for me, it's also like I'm just looking at the pages. I'm like, okay, but I don't know, like, am I doing this right? I feel like I need someone to just, sit with me, and I keep the person like this, and I'm like, okay, can you just please do it for me? And I'm just gonna supervise. Like, it's a very big process, and it's not always nice, and I just wish that they could make it a bit easier. And that's a discussion that I have with other people these days, of why there aren't enough funds, in the UK, especially for, it's only like what Dog Society and the BFI for fiction films and other small grants, but the competition is so big, and you have a number of projects there, a massive number of projects, and everyone keeps applying for the same thing. So, what are the chances that you're gonna get? And you lose time and you lose energy, and at the end you don't even know of the outcome. So it's tough.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose obviously you just mentioned that it's tough and I feel like it stressed you out slightly. But do you have, both of you actually, do you have any tips for people or filmmakers or producers who are applying for funding? Like, do you have like a rule that you wouldn't mind sharing that you like always abide by?
Nor do you have to go.
do you want to say, yes. I think more so, I guess it's not like, I guess, a set rule or even tips, because as I said, like I haven't done it myself yet for films. I've applied, I just got actually accepted for funding from Creative Access to take part in like a screenwriting course for underrepresented writers. It's like a lab, I guess, with NFTS. So that's like my only kind of process of applying for funding. But with that, I think it's just like, it's that whole thing of like, why now, why you, kind of question that I keep hearing about from like producers and commissioners. Is I feel like you need to have such a strong sense of self and a strong sense of why you want to be creating this project and who the audience is and what kind of effect and impact it will have on the audience and in the industry more widely. But I would say and this is kind of why, as I said before, we didn't apply for funding straight away, is because, and Maury, you could probably speak more to this, but I could imagine that like having a track record of films, say that even though you made on a lower budget, would look more attractive to funding people than me applying for funding when I've not made anything at all. So the fact that we, I think, kind of banged our heads together and, were tried to be as resourceful as possible with the equipment that was around us and the locations we could get for free and the people that were willing to work kind of, for free but would help their CV. That I think that kind of resourcefulness, I think will hopefully stand out on our funding applications that will be coming in the future. So yeah, I think just use what you can is my advice, I think, and just try and make things even prior to funding. Like, you don't need funding necessarily to make a film or even to make a good film at my stage anyway, like pre kind of going like into the professional industry. So yeah, I would say just try and be resourceful and use what you have around you.
I guess I would say the same thing, and I appreciate what you say, and I very much agree with it. It's, never lose hope and always try to have a voice of your own and to make a very powerful profile, because you know your abilities and you know your passion and you know the place where you want to get to. So definitely don't lose hope along the way. I also have this thing about with myself when I'm applying for something, and I'm like, okay, but why would they give it to me? There's so many people applying, and sometimes you lose a bit of confidence in the process, but it's just important to keep going and just trust your path and trust your idea and trust that everything that you're doing is gonna go in the right way.
Yeah, I think that's like really sound advice. And I think it can be so demoralizing, especially when you're a creative person and you feel so attached to the work that you do and the work that you want to share with the world, that you just want it to kind of have the right amount of money behind it or the right people involved in it and invest in the work that you do. So it does feel like you have to keep your head really high and like just keep pushing no matter like kind of what gets thrown at you. Because I think you hear all these stories, about these producers and these directors who spent 10 years in the making this one project. They didn't have the funding back then, but they slowly like worked their way, and 10 years later this project actually sees light of day. And you would think, oh, they just made it and it was so easy, but like no, it took them like they were squirreling away their money like right from the very start of it all, because they went into the industry with one project in mind and ended up doing 10 before they got to the one, which I think is just shows like the resilience of like creatives in general. Like, I think so many people are just so resilient because they just want to see the change. They want to see a story that hasn't been told be told in a way that's never been. Projects and like companies like yours so beautiful, because I think it is literally just a case of you see a gap, you don't feel heard potentially, and you're like, I'm gonna make myself be heard by force. Like, I'm not gonna let anyone stop me from being heard and stop my community from being heard. But I guess kind of probably a question that nobody really likes to reflect on. What would you say has been one of the most difficult things about owning a production company?
Do you want to go first this time? I feel like the previous times.
Oh God, but it's so many tough things. I keep saying tough and tough. I don't want to be like that. I just want to be positive. So it's a lot of things. It's how you deal with the business, how you manage to keep it going. I feel like yeah, that's the stage I'm in right now as well. Like, how am I going to be able to of course, like, keep it stable, but at the same time make it grow and expand and get bigger and get like an audience for these films. And I have so many other examples of studios and companies, independent companies, making these projects that are still going out there just because they're very smart in the way that they use marketing and the way, I mean, everyone knows A24 and what they're doing with their work, which is an example for me. But I think definitely it's how you manage to put it out there, because in a pool of so many different people trying to do the same thing, you need to stand out in a way. So I guess finding your uniqueness or in your own voice for your production company and for the project that you're making is the most essential part of it. And then of course all the other things of complying with the text, with all the other aspects, admin aspects of the keeping a company going. And yeah, getting the right people involved, getting the team to work with you and to believe in your ideas, because as a person, as a founder, and of someone who started out the company, and someone who has this idea of where it's gonna go, you need to get the right partners with you on this journey. So yeah, it's a lot of things that you need to think about, but definitely you really need to concentrate on where you're gonna go, and what makes you original.
Yeah, I mean, that is all like completely true and so relevant. I think for me personally, I would say the toughest thing is currently, I think, just like trying to figure out what exactly my space will be in the industry. There's quite a lack of Middle Eastern filmmakers in the film industry right now. Kind of from conception all the way to post-production. So I think that has been a tough one. Is kind of like trying to get over that barrier of like understanding that I do have things to say and I do kind of have, I guess, value, whatever that means, in the industry, and that people will kind of connect to my stories. And I think the other kind of side of that is because I didn't kind of grow up with the industry around me, trying to figure out a way to kind of have a sustainable income in the industry whilst also kind of pursuing passion projects, which I do through Memento mostly, has been really tough. I've kind of landed on kind of going into potentially like development producing as like a more, I guess, sustainable, and what's not sustainable, that's the wrong word, like a less kind of fickle, like it's funding, it's like such a roller coaster of like yeses and nos and like time passing. So I think I just wanted to get some security. I say that I haven't actually got a job yet in it, but that's kind of like the hope, is that trying to find like an in-house job of some sort that I can start building like my kind of professional, like I guess, producing portfolio, and then balance that with the passion projects, which hopefully will kind of end up merging together. But yeah, I'd say that for me has been the trickiest thing, is just like figuring out essentially like how I'm going to start and sustain a career in this industry, which I'm still doing, but I'm hopeful that the path will find me. So
I think it will definitely open up. Like I think it's one of those things where you just have to, like, annoyingly as it sounds and a cliche as it sounds, like find that one person, that one team, and then that's like who you just like stick with for the rest of your life almost. Because I find that like you have a lot of people obviously who like they collaborate with each other time and time again, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason that like people have long-standing collaborations, whether that's like actor and director or like producer and director, or like whether it's like they stick with the same production company for like 3 films. And obviously it probably is a money thing, but it's also probably like we understand each other, like we get each other on a level, and that makes the work so much easier. But on a lighter note, what are some of the wins? What are some of the great things that have happened?
Right. I kind of feel like speaking about myself, I just feel like okay, but like that don't say too much.
No, yeah, don't say all like the things that haven't been announced yet, but say some of like the cool stuff. Like I think, yeah, like you'd be proud of the things that you've done. I mean, I think there's no small feat also just starting a production company in general. Like people don't do that very often. So that even itself is a win. But yeah, some other wins, some cool things.
Totally. Um, so yeah, I mean, apart from the project that I've made until now, and of course, it's not like the other projects or the other short documentaries, for example, that I did. I got funds or money. Like literally, I have films that are made no money within the company, and I'm really really proud of those films, because yeah, you make it somehow. Um, I guess that the most exciting part of everything about the whole process are, yeah, of course, definitely festivals, because at least someone shows you that your work is being recognized, and you also go there and you meet other people, and you create a wider circle of filmmakers with your own passion. And it's for me and for the team members that I work with, We always go to Cannes Film Festival, to Berlin Festival, the markets there, which is extremely exciting because we can also present our projects that are in development and get more partners in that way. We've been selected last year for the Excellent Lab, which is organized by the Institute of Documentary Film, and we are developing our docu-series project within that medium with people who work on like on HBO, Netflix producers, so they're helping us shape our project, and it's actually going very well. And we have a big pitch coming up in March, so fingers crossed for that. Maybe we can get HBO attached to this, or any kind of broadcaster or distributor interested. Of course, like the other selections last year was like a full year of festivals, the Torino Film Festival and the BFI Flair, which was insane, so good, and so many great people that we met there. And now the exciting part is, of course, the projects that we have in development. We have one feature here in Rotterdam that's in development, actually two of them, and then another film in Romania that I'm working with my Romanian partner. So it's very exciting times because we constantly meet our people at the office, and we also have an office, and very grateful for that because it's an office for young startups and creatives in the industry, and it's such a nice space, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So yeah, I guess launching the Melancholia commercial branch because we're trying to get more brands and more clients like that, of course, to sustain yourself, but also create more artistic projects. And we already have directors that we represent within the company for commercials, and they very lovely, and they want to partner up with us. So that's incredible. So yeah, a lot of things that are coming up. Of course, not always positive things, not always bad things. To mix of. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where it's all gonna go, and to work with people and to grow together to build up all these ideas.
Yeah, gosh, that all sounds so amazing. I feel like I'm gonna be manifesting all of that in the next few years for myself. I'd say for us, obviously because we're like at the sort of still kind of like very early stages of the production company. I'd say honestly just like kind of making it and getting it like registered as a company and getting the team together. I think it was in the making from like it was kind of I feel like subconsciously in my mind for quite a long time. Like as I was talking about like the acting and kind of not being happy about that sort of landscape from my personal experiences. So I think just actually realizing that starting a production company and like this kind of community of people that all want to do similar thing, I'd say just actually getting that like organized and I guess in writing, because I don't know, like making films at university is very difficult, and I say this as well, and like some of our films haven't even like finished editing that we filmed like I think around like April, May time last year. But just obviously because like everyone's got a whole degree to be doing and just the schedules and everything, like it is difficult. So I think just getting everyone on set and like having the project filmed, I think once they're done, I feel like that will definitely feel like small wins, for sure. Just I guess like yeah, having something completed. I think for me personally, I mean, it's kind of difficult for me. I mean, Mara, I don't know how this kind of like you feel about this, but for me right now, it's kind of difficult for me to separate like my personal brand from like the company's brand. And I feel like those two are kind of very coinciding right now. And I don't know if that's like right or wrong, not if there is a right or wrong, but um the kind of creative access bursary that I was talking about, that I just got accepted onto is definitely a win for me because I've been looking at that like writing lab for so long, like since I don't know, like September time. But obviously it's the NFTS, so like financially it was quite like tricky to sort out. Yeah, so that was definitely a win for me, just kind of getting that funding secured. So I'm excited to be a part of that and see what people I can connect to and what stories will come out of it. Yeah.
That's so exciting. And I think even honestly, both of you, like you literally you like Mara like being like, oh yeah, like Cannes and Berlinale. Like I am so jealous. So I I had the chance to go to Cannes back in 2022, I think it was. But my job at the time not this job currently I'm in, but another job I was in at the time, they wouldn't let me take annual leave to go. So I just was like really, I think I literally cried in the bathroom. I was like, this is so sad. What do you mean? Like I wanted this like my whole entire life. Um, and then last year I was offered the chance to work with BFI at London Film Festival as like a social, like on like social support. But then once again, things just didn't line up, and it was a case of like my current job, but like you can't really go and just work another job, even if it is for like a week. And I was like, I'll take unpaid leave, like, and they were like, no, you can't go and do that, which was really sad. So I didn't get to do that either. And I think more and more I'm kind of like flirting with the idea of like dropping back my hours, or like finding a way that I can like be part-time just so I can have more access to do more things that I really enjoy within the film and TV sector. Because I think you miss out so much when you're in like a 9 to 5. Like I'm currently in a 9 to 5, and you miss out so much, and it kind of feels really like stifling sometimes, because obviously like I love my job, I need money, but at the same time I'm like I want to be able to do these creative things, and I want to be able to support my friends when they like like go to film festivals and they like have produced really amazing content. So yeah, I kind of like the wins are like really really amazing when you get them, but then it's like sometimes you like have the things that sort of like are like when will I get to the point where I feel this is enough? And almost like I guess as creatives, like it almost never is enough. Like you keep wanting to step up and up and up every time. And that can be pretty much difficult, really difficult as well sometimes. I guess actually, final questions. I'm letting you guys go slightly early because it is, I don't want to keep you guys too long. Final questions for you both. If you could recommend a piece of media, so it can be anything, it can be theatre, TV, film, what would you recommend to the Third Spaces podcast family? And secondly, of your own projects, what would you recommend people check out?
Tough question. For me, I recommending films or series or anything in that medium to watch, right? Films that are already out there. Well, I recently watched of course the films that won the BAFTAs and that are also in the race for the Oscars, and I think I think everyone watched those films. I like the Brutalist Press very much. I connect a lot with the story, and I think all of us as immigrants trying to make it work somewhere else in a different country and trying to get out there. It's a universal experience. So definitely watch that. And Alora, I really liked it a lot. And I started watching a lot of Apple TV. And there's so many good series there. There's one series that I really really liked. Investigative. I think it's called Presumably Innocent. And there's also a dark matter that I really really like. But yeah, I mean, there's so many films out there and so many series. Now I'm watching a docu series actually on Netflix of the Wild Country, I think it's called, about the cult in the US. So it's a lot of things that I feel like there's so many interesting things to see right now. It's very difficult. But yeah, my own work, I guess, definitely stay tuned with the feature documentary that I'm producing at the moment. That is, fingers crossed, going to be finished this year, before winter. And yeah, all the other shorts that we have in development that are on the website page. If you go on Melancholia Pictures, you can see the projects in development, and we're going to release trailers and things on the way. So yeah, definitely we'll keep you posted with this one for now.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I'm gonna definitely keep in touch with all of that. That sounds so cool. I would say so. I'd say one of my favorite directors is Luca Guadagnino. So I would say honestly any of his films. I just think he has a really amazing kind of connection to like humanity. Just like I feel like he like through his films like really kind of like showcases such a wide range of human emotions and human experiences, but does it in such a way that like is not like shameful, because obviously a lot of his films are, you know, there's not controversial topics, but like like Bones and all, I don't know, like it's about cannibalism and stuff. So like it's not, I guess, conventional things that you would kind of see on the big screen, but I think the metaphors and symbols that he implores through the stories that he tells are really kind of telling about just our experience as humans. And I would say also, like, this is like really random and completely off that topic, but there's an artist that I saw her installation called Tracy Emin, and she did an installation kind of centered around like the female body and like women's experiences, and kind of a lot of, yeah, I mean, it's quite, I guess it's quite dark, but like how she kind of portrays it, and the sort of kind of similar to The Substance, actually, like there's a lot of like body kind of dysmorphia and mental health, I guess, images through her art. But that was a really amazing, so I think it's actually over now, so maybe that was a bad thing to recommend, but I think the installation's done. But I mean, you can see all the pictures online, so and then from my own stuff, I think a couple of my films will be coming out very soon. One called Memento Mori and one's called The Form. And they're both kind of like centered around, I guess, just adolescence and growing up. Memento Mori is about like what I guess more spiritual factors influence the decisions that we make as people, and then The Form centers more around like a university student who wants to go through the process of applying for kind of mental health support through the university, and just about the kind of hardships of doing that, and how like the institution of education, or like institutions, don't make it very easy for people to ask for help. Yeah. And then also, like, on a side note, sorry, I'm again rambling a little bit, but I also forgot to mention, like, one of my wins as well is that I started social media. I've got a TikTok page that is, I guess, kind of connecting with a lot of different people, which I'm proud of, because it's kind of been a part of like what I want to do like with my company, in that I really want to make the industry more accessible. I mean, I'm still breaking into it myself, but my aim is kind of to make it more accessible to, I guess, everyone from all walks of life. And I think I've been really able to do that, like, so far with my TikTok, just kind of giving people information that they wouldn't necessarily come across in their everyday life, just because I feel like the industry is so bad at advertising its opportunities. Yeah, so I'd say if you're interested, like, check that out as well.
Amazing. Thank you both so much. I'm so excited to like share your projects, and like honestly, like when things go live, when trailers go live, like key art, that's such like a industry term, sorry, it's my BBC brain. When like stuff goes live, like honestly, like send me links, send me everything, and I'll literally, like, the whole point of this is not just to have this conversation and then that's it, we're done. The whole point is like build community within each other. So like honestly, when stuff goes live, like let me know. When you guys have more wins, let me know. If we all end up in Cannes, like we'll take a selfie, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, thank you guys so much for doing this with me. It's actually, it feels very surreal, I can't lie. So this all obviously is like been logistically like a struggle, because everyone just is busy and has lives, and it's like everyone, like adulthood is really like about scheduling your life away. Like I have people coming onto the pod in like May. I'm like, how did we get to May? Like it's crazy. But I'm also just so grateful for everyone's time and everyone's willingness to just talk and be open and to share. So yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. And that means a lot, and I totally agree. We need to stick together, and do things that makes creative, because that's the whole point of what we're doing. And I'm very, very excited your films are, and should definitely keep each other posted. And maybe we can do it that as well.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, same as what you guys said, like, so grateful. I mean, just even to be asked, I was like, got the email, and I was like, wait, what? But no, yeah, super blessed, super grateful. And also, I'm really excited for you, Sabrina, to see where this podcast goes, and you know, what other guests you bring on and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
Guys,
it's amazing.
the goal is movie subscription, A24 membership subscription paid for, letterbox top four, like they're in my face with. That's the goal. Kidding, guys, that's not really the goal. The goal is to create community, but also maybe some free cool things as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I would
Yeah,
love
we're
to.
only human. We're only human.
Yeah, honestly, we're only human. Like, yeah. So yeah.